Hello, and welcome to the Yes You May live stream podcast, where we talk all things about personal development so that you can become a better person and understand that you're able to live into your own dreams by giving yourself the permission and not waiting for an outside influence. I'm Amanda May Gray, your host, and today I want to talk to you about how mantras are hurting you. And before anybody freaks out, I want to tell you I really like mantras. I like affirmations. I like mantras. I use them all the time. But I've been listening to Abraham Hicks a lot lately. And something really struck me about how mantras can work and how they can't work. If you're unfamiliar with mantras, they are short phrases that are generally positive in nature, that lift you up, empower you, that make you feel good, that can help change your way of thinking. And often mantras are utilized to correct a way of thinking or to, I don't know if correct is the right word, but to put different ideas in your head instead of the ones that you're constantly believing that are on a negative repeat. So, say you have a money lack problem, right? Like you just don't have a good relationship with money. If you are always feeling lack towards money, if you are constantly battling and feeling like, what next is going to happen? Oh, what bad thing is going to cost me this? I'm going to lose it, or, I'm not going to be able to make more money. Utilizing mantras in this case can help you to feel more positive towards money. And if you have a better relationship towards something, then naturally it's going to be a better, more productive thing, right? So instead of saying, it's hard to get money, you might say, money flows to me freely. That might be a mantra. Or I love money. There's plenty more where that came from, which I'm a big fan of that one. I always feel like money mantras are positive influx in my life no matter what, and I should always be utilizing them. However, there's this big distinction between saying things that you actually truly believe and saying things that are idealistic, but deep down inside, your subconscious does not believe them. So, using the money example, if you've struggled with a lack mindset, a mentality like that, which is something that I struggle with personally. If I'm going too far and above on the mantra spectrum and just trying to convince myself that everything is great and it's all coming to me, it could do the opposite effect because I don't actually believe it. What Abraham Hicks says is to not go to the next extreme. Don't go so far that you don't actually believe what you're saying because that's counterproductive. So instead of saying, money flows to me freely when you really don't believe that and you have a strong negative connotation towards it, find a way to soften it. Like saying, often I receive money. I often find myself with extra money. I often find things on sale, which saves me money. Things that you actually believe, things that really are in your life that you know to be true. That is how you want to frame your mantras and not to the super positivity. There's this movement out there about like the super obnoxious positivity. And I know there's a phrase for it and I can't think of it right now, but it's all about this like toxic positivity, I think is what they call it. I knew it was going to come to me eventually, and that might be wrong, but I think it's the toxic positivity and how that is detrimental. There's the same thing as having toxic positive mantras that you don't really believe. Because in the law of attraction and in understanding the human psychology of it all, you are doing more hurt because you fully are just like, no, that's not true. I'm telling myself lies. And if inherently you think you're telling yourself lies, then you're building that as your persona. So instead of being somebody that is true to their word and believes the things that they are saying, you're now somebody who says things to themselves and then it's not true. And then you're not true to your word, even to yourself. And that has a negative repercussion. So mantras can be very helpful, but choosing your mantras wisely is the key. So try to replace these like super strong statements with something that is a little bit more softened, like utilizing that word often. One thing Abraham Hicks talks a lot about is the mantra of things are always working out for me. I love that one too. Things are always working out for me. And that I believe like 90% of the time, right? And then there's that 10% where something goes wrong and then I'm down and out and I try to just say that to myself and it doesn't feel good because in that moment I'm not believing it. And that can cause me to go down more of a negativity of a spiral effect. And therefore, I'm not in a good mood. The vibration is lower, my energy is lower. I'm not able to pick myself back up as easily, and I'm stuck in that down negative mindset longer than needed. Whereas if you change that phrase to be more true in the moment, you'll have a better impact on yourself. So instead of saying things are always working out for me when something isn't going right, things often work out for me. Last week, this worked out for me. I don't know how it happened, but a month ago, this happened for me. And find specific examples. So I'll I'm pretty transparent. If you've been listening to me or watching me at all, you probably know about this point. I'm pretty transparent and I don't know, I don't sugarcoat things. I just feel like it's better to just share the reality of the world than to gloss it over and make it all seem like I just have this perfect little fairy tale life. 'Cause nobody does, for goodness sake. But I have been kind of at odds with what I want to do and how I want to focus this podcast and where I'm going with it. And is this what I need to be doing? Or do I need to, consider this just a hobby? Is it helping? Is anybody even watching? Right? Am I even being productive or am I just talking for myself? Sometimes it feels like that. And right before I hopped in the shower today, after I was up this morning, you know, stressing over things, trying to figure out like where am I going next? What's the next direction? What is the next focus? How do I monetize? What do I do to start, making this a productive path for myself? And right before I hopped in the shower, I got an email and it was asking me if I would be interested in having this person on my podcast as a guest. Completely out of the blue. I don't know who this person is. I don't know how this business found me. I'm not sure what's going on, but it just did. And that was a great example of something just working out. Now, granted, I haven't fully looked into it. I don't know if I'm going to have this person on. I don't want to guarantee everything's great. But after last week's interview and conversation with Ron Chapman, I felt like that was something I really enjoyed and I want to do more of, but I wasn't really sure how to find more guests. And then thinking about it today and stressing about, where am I going and what am I doing with all of this? And then something just happened for me. Something worked out for me. So if I had continued to go down the path of, oh, things don't actually work out for me, and I say these mantras without believing them, then more of that negativity will creep in. But when I say tomorrow, I am down and out and I'm frustrated again because that's what I do. I get frustrated myself from time to time. I can utilize that specific instance instead of a broad language like things are always working out for me. Yesterday, a podcast guest worked out for me. And it's true. It's a real thing, a real situation that really happened. So that's how you really want to be applying mantras, affirmations, more so than just the toxic positivity. Because I think, I mean, you know when you're lying to yourself, right? You know when you're like, okay, yeah, whatever. And sometimes I think it can help and it can help build you up and make you feel better. And, saying something 5 times out loud is a great method as well. But having a specific instance that you can refer back to based on that bigger mantra that is real. That's what's going to propel you forward and make these mantras work for you. So it's a two-part prong, right? One, soften the language so that it's not so everything's 100% perfect all the time. Blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. It's just not, right? It's not. We're human. We have ups, we have downs. Things happen. We trip, right? Like literally and figuratively. And sometimes you need to take that time to just, say something positive to yourself. And when that happens, instead of things are always working out for me, which I still like that one. It can still work, but soften it. Things often work out for me. Yesterday, this worked out for me. So that's the method I want you to consider and to take. Instead of just using toxic positivity and not believing it, and therefore probably doing more harm than good for yourself, find ways to take those bigger, broader, general mantras, affirmations that you see all the time, soften them with words like often, sometimes, frequently, instead of steadfast, it's always happening, everything's great, and find yourself specific instances that you can refer back to. So if you are big on mantras, and maybe you have a book or, maybe you meditate and you find different ones, practice this journaling exercise where you pick a mantra that you like, but maybe deep down you're like, I just don't fully resonate with it, and write out specific instances. Write out in different ways. How can you rephrase that so that it feels more true to you? Because there's nothing better than feeling amazing about yourself and having more amazing things come into your life, right? That's what I'm working on this week. That's what I've been thinking about this week. And I hope that can help somebody else because I think we're often stuck in this toxic positivity that doesn't get you anywhere and can really be difficult to consume. But if you find the things that can work for you, little by little, it'll help build you up and build you to a better place overall. That's my 2 cents. That's how I utilize it. It's what works for me, an ADHD overthinking perfectionist who gets in her own way all the time. And that's my new method. We'll see how it goes. Oh, and big exciting news. I am creating a digital course to help people figure out how to make a beautiful video space for live streaming, YouTubing, for, presenting virtually on Zoom, Teams, anything like that. Everybody, I believe, can have a home studio space. It doesn't have to cost that much money. It doesn't have to be a lot of space. It doesn't have to be that hard. But it took me about 2 years to figure it out. And so I'm compiling this into a course so that you can take this information that I have, apply it in yours, and dang, you could do this on a weekend. You really could. You really could knock this out and have like a boom, before and after thing that you do on your own with all this information. So be on the lookout for that if that's something that you're interested in, and share this with somebody that you think could use some help with mantras and affirmations and reframing their way of thinking because they're just like, man, this is a little ridiculous. Y'all go down the deep end with this. Because I understand it. And that's kind of how I felt at first, too. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. And I would love to know what's the one thing that you've gotten out of this today and what you find beneficial about my podcast, The Yes You May, with me, Amanda Mae Gray. Because the more I can tailor my content to help you with what's already helping you, the better that we can be for everybody. Instead of me just randomly putting the world out there. How can I help you more? Please feel free to let me know in the comments. And I hope to see you again next week with maybe another interview because I kind of liking these. I'm really liking them. So more to come. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And I will see you on the next Yes You May.